I made a grave error this year. I celebrated Summerween. I feel about Halloween how most people feel about Christmas. I'm good for celebrating it for about like 1 to 2 weeks, but then I'm done. Over the past couple of years, that actually has been not the case, but I guess they were the exceptions to the rule because after celebrating Summerween this year for a couple of weeks, I'm ready for Christmas. I'm ready for the holiday season. I don't necessarily want to skip Halloween. I'm just like not so much in a Halloween mood. Therefore, I don't really want to decorate for Halloween either. I would rather decorate for like an autumnal vibe, but because it's already halfway through October, I was wondering if there were some ways to do convertible decor, or at least decor that could easily transition from fall to winter. So that's what this video is going to be about. We are going to be attempting to do 3 different projects that could either have like changing parts where you can convert it from fall decor to winter decor, or that can just work for either season. I'm lazy because it's halfway through the month. I don't want to have to take down any decor in like 2 weeks when Halloween is over. And I also wanted to make some sustainable, or at least more sustainable options for decor. Okay, with all that in mind, let's get started. My first idea is a convertible wreath made of felt that can be changed out to match the colors of the season. This is the least sustainable option of the 3 projects, but since I'm using it for both fall and winter, I still think there's an air of sustainability about it. I just wish I had some leftover felt, but I also feel like if you have leftover fabric, that could also work with this idea. First, I cut out 5 billion leaf shapes out of these small squares of felt. I definitely didn't use the space to the best of my ability at the beginning and only got a few out of each square, but eventually I found a way to get 9 leaves out of each piece. While I'm cutting out all these shapes, let me explain my idea. So basically I want to make 1 wreath made of all red leaves and then 2 garlands, one made out of green and another made out of all these yellows, oranges, and browns. I'll then wrap 1 garland around the wreath, and that will make it either more autumnal or more Christmassy, and the other one can be used as just a regular garland. This plan didn't work out 100% the way I originally planned, but I was mostly able to keep to plan. After cutting out all these leaves, which took forever, I bought 2 sets of these string lights. They were really cheap, but I'm mostly using them as a basis for my garland instead of building one myself. I then used a glue gun to start gluing down the leaves onto these lights. I felt like just gluing them around the lights themselves would be too sparse, so I also started gluing them around the stem, if that's the correct term, and then gluing some leaves to themselves, and then gluing it to the side, just to add a little bit more fullness. Once the green garland was done, I started working on the autumn colored garland, and I tried to spread out all these colors as evenly as possible so that one color wouldn't be too weighted in one area. All right, so you could actually stop here with this garland because it could kind of give off like cool mid-century modern or just like more of a modern vibe if you just wanted it to be a garland. I want it to be more full, just like I did with the green one yesterday. Did I show you all the green one? This is what the green one looks like. That's really pretty. I love it as just a garland. I only have green ones left over, unfortunately. So I'm going to finish this one with green. I still think that works. Green and orange and red still give off a fall vibe and not a like Christmas winter vibe. So we're gonna make this one as full as this one, and then we'll start preparing the actual wreath. I feel like this was the right order to do it in. Cool. I was not able to make this autumn garland as full as the green one, but it was close enough, so I moved on. And I started working on the wreath. A lot of wreath forms are quite flat. This hay one was one of the only ones with the shape that I wanted, just so that the leaves would glue down better, and in case there were any bald spots, I covered the entire wreath in a red ribbon. I then started gluing the red leaves down to the wreath in much the same way as the garland. Because of the variation of color in both of the other garlands, I wanted the wreath to have some too, so I added in pieces of white and a couple of deeper brown tones, just hoping that that would make everything look a little bit more cohesive. This was also the most expensive project to make of the two other projects. One was about $15 for some scrap fabric, and the other was free because I have a lot of yarn lying around. So this was about $60 to make. So definitely not cheap, but since I'm using this for both fall and winter, I could consider it to be $30 each, which doesn't sound too bad. Also, yes, I did burn myself about 1,000 times during this process. I love this whole project. I honestly love the wreath alone, and I still think it works for both seasons, but the garlands are a cute addition, and I like that everything works separately, but can also work together, and everything can kind of mix and match. This did take 10 years off my life to make. Just kidding, but it took several days.
I have set my sights on a summer evening where we can watch the sky chase the morning. Us under the stars, you fall into my arms. There's no one else I'd rather be here with. And in the end, I'll be here when I feel your light warming up my skin. And in good time, we'll make our lives together under tie-dye sky. Watch the moon, glowing silver loom. Wait until the sunrise, and in the afternoon, meet me by the oak tree. In the wind it waves its leaves. There's no one else I'd rather be here with. And in the end, I'll be here when I feel your light warming up my skin. And in good time, we'll make our lives together under tie-dye sky.
For my second project, I would like to try to make a fabric ring garland with some scrap fabric I had lying around, but I felt like I needed more fall-inspired fabrics. So I bought some online for a couple of different projects. I used some for a sweatshirt that I made earlier this year, and I tried to make as many larger rectangles as I could. Then I took my more neutral scrap fabric and cut out a lot more rings. So the idea here is these neutral rings are going to be permanently sewed together, but the fall-inspired fabrics are going to have Velcro added on so that when winter comes around, I can take these fall-inspired fabrics off, put some Christmassy inspired fabrics on, and use the same garland for both seasons. I love the look of a paper ring garland, but I wanted something a bit more sustainable and something I could use every year. And this year I finally got around to making one. So then I started sewing together the permanent rings. Some of them I went ahead and closed, but others needed to be left open so that I could then connect them and then close them together. Since my ends weren't the prettiest, I quickly stitched them down on each ring in a place that would be less visible, and that worked really well. Then it was time to work on the interchangeable rings. These were sewn in a pretty similar way, except the ends are stitched down open instead of closing it into a ring. And I added Velcro on one end, flipped it over, and added it to the other end so that when closed, it made, that's right, a ring. I feel like I'm saying ring so many times. This gives a major vintage vibe that I really love. I do wish there was a bit more color. Hopefully I can make that happen in the Christmas version of this garland, but I think it is still really cute. And for the final project, I have a current ongoing series on my channel where I am making a concerted effort of stash busting my yarn before buying new. And I recently saw this really cute crochet pine cone tutorial that I thought would make a really great autumn to winter decoration. I didn't have quite enough of any one color for this project, so I just picked several colors of like brown, a beige, a couple of reds, and a taupe that I thought might work together and would work for either season. With the crochet pattern I used, I did change it up a little bit by playing with how many scales are on each one and how many times I crocheted into each scale. If you watch the tutorial, that might make a bit more sense. I'll have it in the description. I'm just basically saying I played around with the pattern a bit to get different shapes and sizes. By the end, I made 5 red pine cones, about 14 beige, five brown, and 4 tiny taupe ones. And then it was time to put them together into little clusters. I was thinking these could hang from the windows in some kind of way. I then simply chain stitched them together in a way that was asymmetrical and felt natural, and I added a little loop at the top so they could be hung up. And with that, the final project is done. I wish the colors went together a bit better, but with stash busting, you only have so many options, and I still think they turned out really cute. I am so happy with all these projects. My favorite is most definitely the wreath, but that took millions of years off my life. It feels like it took so long to make that. So the least it could do is look pretty. I hope this video maybe gave you some ideas for your decorating this year. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. Liking and commenting also really help me out, as always. I hope you had a good time, and I hope to see you back here next time. Bye!